You get more profit, you get more profit, you get more profit. Hey everyone, it's Wilco the Kreij here with all of you, and today I'm going to talk about 6 profit boosters that you can literally implement into your business to add more profitability to your bottom line. And I know that sounds like, what does it actually sound? It sounds like BS basically, right? But the first one is probably going to be familiar, and then you're like, that's the direction he's going. But I think number 2 until 6 are actually going to be a lot better. So the first one is an upsell, right? If you're already selling a product or a service, an easy thing to do is to add an upsell afterwards. I mean, even McDonald's is doing it. Hey, do you want to get fries with that? Yeah, sure. Guess what? That's a profit booster. They could have just sold you the burger, but now they also get the fries. So if you don't have an upsell yet or an order bump, then that's definitely one of the things you can do to immediately increase your profitability without making major changes to your business. But what's number 2 to 6? Because those are probably, I would say, less familiar. And so I'm going to grab the whiteboard and we're going to have some fun today. So the first one is upsell, as I just mentioned. The second one is what I call the multi-use case. What I mean with that is that often, like there's certain products that you can sell at different use cases, and because you're selling at different use cases, you can actually charge a premium. And a good example of that is, for example, Coca-Cola, right? They've got one product. They sell it at the grocery store for whatever they're charging at the grocery store. But then guess what? If you're going to the cinema, you get the exact same product. They don't have to change the product, but they can charge a massive premium, right? And every now and then there's product that you can just, even though you don't have to change anything to the product, but because you're making it available at a different place for a different use case, it's just a lot more valuable to the person. Because yes, if they would, let's say they charge 50 cents at the grocery store for whatever you get for that, and they would charge the same thing at the cinema, like they would sell a lot of it, right? But they can get away with like charging $3 or whatever it is, because there's more value for that person. Like the person is getting more value from the same product simply because they sell and make it available at a different product, a different place. Now, maybe that doesn't apply to you, but I think if I go to the next one, you start to make more sense. I call it a different experience. I'll just put it experience. And what I mean by that, sometimes you have a product that you can let people experience in a different way, and people start to, they're willing to pay a lot more for it. I'll give you a good example. A couple years ago, I bought a book from Russell Brunson. He's the founder of ClickFunnels, and I paid around $10 for the book. But guess what? I also joined his mastermind, his $25,000 a year mastermind. So book, $10, $25,000 for the mastermind. And what I realized, like, no complaints about the mastermind. It was an awesome mastermind, but most of the content was also in his $10 book, right? Isn't that crazy? So he had basically certain things that he was teaching, and he put it into the book for everyone to see. But for those who wanted to have a more personal experience, there was also a mastermind, and he would teach it in person. But it was essentially the same product in a different format, right? $10 book, $25,000 mastermind, and obviously there's brackets in between. But essentially, that's something that can be applied to a lot of different businesses. Usually, we'll have a certain product that, if we add something to it, if we let people experience it in a different way, a more personal touch, a VIP, like something, right? People would pay more for it. I mean, that happens in all kinds of different ways. It happened to movies. Like I remember back in the day, I sold the trilogy packs from The Lord of the Rings, right? Yes, you could buy the movie for whatever it was being sold for, but I wanted to have the trilogy pack with like the actual like little figures and all that. I paid premium for that, yeah, but I had a different experience, right? On to number 4, right? Spin-offs of your product, right? So let's say you are a marketing agency and you have a product that works incredibly well, let's say for dentists, right? You can get dentists new leads, right? That's your product, that's your core focus. But sometimes with very little adjustments, right, you can create a completely different spin-off and open up a completely different market. Let's say also applying that same mechanism for lawyers, right? It might be a completely different business, it might be a completely different product, completely different brand, it could be all different, but essentially it's a really small change, right, that you apply. So you literally duplicate your business that you already have, and you just apply it to a completely different industry. You create a spin-off, and that's something that, because you already spent all that money creating that product and creating all that, everything that you have on that, you maybe already have some infrastructure for that, you maybe already have a team for that, but then you just put that and put it into a different industry, and all of a sudden that's a huge profit booster because there's not that much cost involved because you already made all that cost for the original one, and you can just and immediately increase your profitability of your business, creating that spin-off. Number 5, I call that the specialist profit, right? So let's say you have a product or service and you're in a certain industry, but usually what happens if you go narrow, right? What it means, you can also increase your margins, you can increase your prices, right? I was just talking about lawyers. Let's say you are a lawyer, right? Let's say you are a lawyer. Lawyers are well paid, I believe, I guess, I know, I'm not a lawyer, but from what I can tell, they're pretty well paid. But you know what, you know which lawyers are paid a massive premium? Those who specialize, right? If you specialize in a certain type of category, all of a sudden your margins go way up because you're more valuable, right? Like I know, like recently I had to hire a lawyer as well. And they weren't just a lawyer. They were a lawyer, like a law firm, specialized in a specific type of, like specifically for SaaS businesses, like a certain type of internet business in a certain, there was like super precise. Because of that, they had like zero competition. There was only one company who was good in that were there. Like I couldn't even compare. I couldn't even go to look for a bargain or whatever. Like that's it. And they charged me a massive premium. And they were worth it because they specialized. And this can be applied to a lot of different things. Like if you, like what I just said, if you're marketing for dentists, if you're just a marketing agent, you're doing it forever. You charge a certain amount of money, right? But if you're doing it for dentists, specifically for dentists, you can increase your pricing. Not because dentists pay more, right? But even if you do it for a plumber, right? If you say like, hey, I'll do it specifically for plumber. Like you can reduce your cost because you only need to know how to do it for plumbers. And you can also increase your prices because you'll be able to get more value to them because you know exactly how it works for plumbers specifically instead of being some average. So being a specialist or making your product or service more specialized means you can increase your prices as well. And number 6, platform profits, right? And this is slightly different, but very interesting. So I call it platform profits, right? And in a way, it's sort of similar to an upsell, but it's also different. Let's say someone is looking for a landing page builder, right? And they're like very price sensitive. They're like looking like what is the best deal, which one is cheaper, like maybe they're looking for a lifetime deal. They're looking for a good deal to build a landing page. And they can because there's so much competition. There's so many tools out there. So like they're very price sensitive. They're looking for a good deal and they've got all these options, right? So then someone goes and they decide on this certain platform and they purchase it. Cool. Now they're in the platform, right? They spend some time learning. They're invested in that platform, and then they're like, all right, now I wanna get a new template. And guess what? Apparently that template is actually pay for that. But now I cannot go around shopping, right? There's only one company who's like only inside that platform. They're the ones selling that template. And now what happens? The price sensitivity goes way down because there's only one option. Like I need to buy it at this product, right? And this is something that like it's sort of like an upsell, but like you're not upselling directly, but it's like once people are inside your business, right? Then everything that comes after, people are way less price sensitive. And there's many businesses who take advantage of this. I mean, you've seen this as well, like razor blades. The first thing the thing you buy is cheap because people are shopping around. They even give it away for free just to get you to start using it. But guess what? Once you have it, you need to actually get the razor blades itself, and that is actually quite expensive. That's where they make the money, right? So how does that apply to you? So maybe you don't need to make as much money up front. Maybe your initial product doesn't have to be as expensive if after they purchase your original product or service, you've got add-ons that only you can offer. Right? Maybe you're able to say like, hey, you want to extend or you want to have like extra support coverage or whatever it is. But inside your bubble, you can offer more services or products, and that's where you make the profit, right? So those are 6 things that you can do to increase profitability of your business. Add an upsell to it, right? As mentioned, you sell your product for multiple use cases. Look at like where can we sell it at a different use case, exact same product where people are less price sensitive, so you can charge more for it therefore increase your profitability? Or can we get people to experience it in different ways by changing your product slightly, like from a book to an event to like something where they experience it in a different way but are willing to pay a premium, and therefore you make more profit? Or can you create a spin-off, use your existing product or service and apply it in a different industry, right? You literally create like basically a new business with the same product or service. Or could you maybe say, like, you know what, I'm just going to specialize in I'm going to narrow, I'm actually going to go very deep into one specific segment, and therefore you can increase your prices and make more profit. Or platform profits. I'm just going to accept that originally I'm not going to make as much money. I'm going to get as many people as possible in because, you know, my prices are cheap at the front. But then once people are in my platform, once people are in my business, I'll have additional services, additional products, additional things they can spend with me, and that's where I make the profit, right? Or maybe some kind of subscription or recurring as well. So those are 6 ways to increase your profit. Hopefully it will help you. Let me know down in the comments which one of these are your favorite and whether you're using any of those already. And if not, you should. So let me know in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you all soon.